Here we go, and starting up the Dear Esther, and pre-launch the game today. The Chinese room, and that's loud as hell. Let's see how the audio in-game is. I lowered it yesterday, but I don't know if it took. You're tired? And me as well. No, it seems to have taken at least. Alright. Start it. Okay. I can only mark this. Play this chapter. Yes. Thank you. You're a tired pizza. Aww. Yeah, I'm a tired wall. Oh, now walls are tired, but, well, you know.
Dear Esther, I sometimes feel as if I've given birth to this island. Somewhere between the longitude and latitude, a split opened up, and it beached remotely here. No matter how hard I correlate, it remains a singularity, an alpha point in my life that refuses all hypothesis. I return each time leaving fresh markers that I hope, in the full glare of my hopelessness, will have blossomed into fresh insight in the interim.
Okay, the storyline in itself starts interesting enough. Oh, you have a flashlight. Nice. That's a dirty toilet. Hey! Where's the cleaning lady? I want to give her a beating. She hasn't done her job right. Forbidden a forbidden history. Okay. Well, this is a desolate place anyway. Is this a horror game? I don't know actually, it's a mystery game. Isn't supposed to be that much horror to my knowledge. But we'll have to see. I love horror. Then you will love Halloween week. I will try and play as much horror games as I can. Okay, we can't run though. There's no run option. No, I want to play some more horror games. The problem is to find any that actually interests or intrigues me in that regard. Whoa, there are kids screaming outside. Well, screw them. Not literally. Okay, we can't crouch and we can't run. And somehow, pressing the mouse button makes us zoom in a regard. Well, this game's graphics is lovely as well for the age it is. I hate post-sickness because I always have something in my throat.
At night, you can see the lights sometimes from a passing tanker or trawler. From up on the cliffs, they are mundane. But down here, they fugue into ambiguity. For instance, I cannot readily tell if they belong above or below the waves. The distinction now seems banal. Why not everything and all at once? There's nothing better to do here than indulge in contradictions whilst waiting for the fabric of life to unravel.
Ooh. Yeah, I have a box pizza. I do have a box. Okay, I believe I might need to implement this into memory. Maybe? Yeah.
Dear Esther, I found myself to be as featureless as this ocean, as shallow and unoccupied as this bay, a listless wreck without identification. My rocks are these bones, and a careful fence to keep the precipice at bay. Shot through me caves, my forehead a mount. This aerial will transmit into me so. All overexposed, the nervous system, where Donnelly's boots and yours and mine still trample. I will carry a torch for you. I will leave it at the foot of my headstone. You will need it for the tunnels that carry me under.
You guys will have to tell me if I need to up or lower the volume on this. Oh!
Come back.
Okay. Paul, do you have a blanket? Yes, I do. Box and a blanket. Box and a blanket. It's so annoying that you can't run though. But that was the first what the hell moment. Went into the water and everything just got weird and something just said, come back. Come back. I was like, what? Alright. Oh, it's a light over there.
Donnelly's book had not been taken out from the library since 1974. I decided it would never be missed as I slipped it under my coat and avoided the librarian's gaze on the way out. If the subject matter is obscure, the writer's literary style is even more so. It is not the text of a stable or trustworthy reporter. Perhaps it is fitting that my only companion in these last days should be a stolen book written by a dying man.
Okay. Is that the Dear Esther he reads all the time? Or what?
When someone had died or was dying, or was so ill they gave up what little hope they could sacrifice, they cut parallel lines into the cliff, exposing the white chalk beneath. You could see them from the mainland or the fishing boat, and know to send aid or impose a cordon of protection, and wait a generation until whatever pestilence stalked the cliff paths died along with its hosts. My lines are just for this, to keep any would-be rescuers at bay. The infection is not simply of the flesh.
Okay. So it's an infection of the mind then, as well as the body? Or what?
They were God-fearing people, those shepherds. There was no love in the relationship. Donnelly tells me that they had one Bible that was passed around in strict rotation. It was stolen by a visiting monk in 1776, 2 years before the island was abandoned altogether. In the interim, I wonder, did they assign chapter and verse to the stones and grasses, marking the geography with a superimposed significance that they could actually walk the Bible and inhabit its contradiction?
I don't know, but it sounds interesting. Oh, there's a shipwreck. I have no idea what I'm supposed to do. But it's interesting. The only thing I can do is walk around and listen to his narration.
Dear Esther, I met Paul. I made my own little pilgrimage. My Damascus, a small semi-detached on the outskirts of Wolverhampton. We drank coffee in his kitchen and tried to connect to one another. Although he knew I hadn't come in search of an apology, reason or retribution, he still spiraled in panic, thrown high and lucid by his own dented body. Responsibility had made him old. Like us, he'd already passed beyond any conceivable boundary of life.
Okay.
I threw my arms wide and the cliff opened out before me, making this rough home.
Oh.
I transferred my belongings from the bothy on the mount and tried to live here instead. It was cold at night, and the sea lapped at the entrance at high tide. To climb the peak, I must first venture even deeper into the veins of the island, where the signals are blocked altogether, Only then will I understand them, when I stand on the summit and they flow into me, uncorrupted.
This looks interesting. Oh, I wonder what's Morgan Freeman. Yeah, Morgan Freeman should narrate everything. It would probably be epic. But I like this narrator's voice. It's really good, actually. Okay. There's a fish. Some old bread, an old can. Alright. Are we supposed to explore everything, or is there a point to everywhere I'm walking right now? People have told me to play this for ages because it was interesting, and it really is. But I don't have the slightest clue what I'm doing. What? Did you have a nightmare? Oh, I can walk down here now. Alright, let's see if it's anything interesting over here then. The music is great though. Simple, but really covering emotions somehow.
The vegetation here has fossilized from the roots up. To think they once grazed animals here, the remnants of occupation being evidence to that. It is all sick to death. The water is too polluted for the fish, the sky is too thin for the birds, and the soil is cut with the bones of hermits and shepherds. I've heard it said that human ashes make great fertilizer, that we could sow a forest from all that is left of your hips and ribcage, with enough left over to thicken the air and repopulate the bay.
Yes, you can have some warm milk. Oh, okay. Here's another one of these designs. And there's the Bible. Is that the Bible he spoke about? I would believe so. Using human bones as fertilizer. And that's as creepy as you get, probably. Okay, let's see what we have over here then. Oh, hello.
Dear Esther, I have now driven the stretch of the M5 between Exeter and Bristol over 21 times. But although I have all the reports and all the witnesses, and have cross-referenced them within a millimetre using my Ordnance Survey maps, I simply cannot find the location. You'd think there would be marks to serve as some evidence. It's somewhere between the turn-off for Sanford and the welcome brake services. But although I can always see it in my rear-view mirror, I have as yet been unable to pull ashore.
Okay. Just only being able to walk makes this really spooky in a way. I hate that feeling not being able to run. It makes everything so much. Yeah. Not slower in itself, but just weird. Okay, so this was once a ship. It's drifted ashore, everything is just, or rather being thrown ashore it seems, by a great force of Earth, I would say.
There must be a hole in the bottom of the boat. How else could new hermits have arrived?
Why will there be hermits on this island? This seems deserted. Stop having nightmares. There's nothing to have nightmares about. It's a nightmare box.
I had kidney stones and you visited me in the hospital.
After
After the operation, when I was still half submerged in anesthetic. Your outline and your speech both blurred. Now my stones have grown into an island and made their escape, and you have been rendered opaque by the car of a drunk.
What? That doesn't have any correlation with itself whatsoever. Hello, Saitan. How you doing? Okay, this is interesting.
I've begun my ascent on the green slope of the western side. I've looked deep into the mountain from the shaft and understood that I must go up and then find the way under. I will stash the last vestiges of my civilization in the stone walls and work deeper from there.
I am
by
fine.
the aerial and the cliff edge. There is some form of rebirth waiting for me there.
Okay. Some form of rebirth. There's a house on the top here.
The bothy was constructed originally in the early 1700s. By then, shepherding had formalized into a career. The first habitual shepherd was a man called Jakobsen, from a lineage of migratory Scandinavians. He was not considered a man of breeding by the mainlanders. He came here every summer whilst building the bothy, hoping eventually that becoming a man of property would secure him a wife and a lineage. Donnelly records that it did not work. He caught some disease from his malcontented goats and died 2 years after completing it. There was no one to carve white lines into the cliff for him either.
Yeah, dear Esther, it is.
A trestle table we spread wallpaper on.
I felt like paying it.
A folding chair. I laughed at you for bringing camping in the lakes. I was uncomfortable later and you laughed then. This diary, the bed with the broken springs. Once asleep you have to remember not to dream. A change of clothes. Donnelly's book, stolen from Edinburgh Library on the way here. I will burn them all on the last morning and make an aerial of my own.
Okay. I mean, this game is great, but it's so weird in the narration sometimes. Stables? Hello. Oh, there's more of these signs or whatever they are. They are a little here and there. I don't know, I want more of these kind of games though. The only ones I knew was The Vanishing that I played yesterday and this. Don't really have any other of these kind of games. Well, Murdered Soul Suspect, I have an Xbox 360, but nah. It wasn't really my cup of tea. It was a good game though, but There was some